Good morning. So I just wanted to put out a quick video because we're having a lot more people move outdoors for riding. And this weekend we had our first, I guess legitimately what I would call summer day. So the first thing, as you guys are riding outside, I've gotten some comments about feeling tired and not necessarily in the legs. The trainer rides that you do, if you have been working hard on the trainer, usually, your legs feel pretty good when you get outside. But you can come back from those first outdoor rides a lot more tired than you're expecting. And that is coming from two different things. One of them is the actual stabilization that's required when you get outside to ride from your core and then also from your upper body. It uses obviously a lot more core and upper body strength because you're having to stabilize your bike and you're not having to do that inside on the trainer. And so it really does, like all those little micro movements and stuff really add up, and it definitely accumulates fatigue. And especially because, if you're going out there and you're out there for, 1, 2, 3 hours, that's a lot to ask of those muscles to stabilize when they haven't been having to do that. The other thing is mental fatigue. When you're outside, it requires a lot more focus on, whether it's cars or wind or having to adjust for terrain and the shifting that you have to do, and just paying attention to things like debris on the road or other cyclists around you. More and more studies are coming out about the impact of mental fatigue on how you physically feel. And so when you get outside and you are required to have a lot more mental focus, again, for 1, 2, 3 hours, it's not like you're just out there for 15 minutes. That also will wear you out. And so those two things just take a couple weeks for your body to adjust to. And it just kind of makes you feel a little more tired, and not necessarily in the legs, but just sort of like a sleepy fatigue. Make sure that you are also eating enough on your bike. That can be part of that, but regardless, there's a little bit of an adjustment period. The second thing I want to address quickly is the heat, and it's kind of setting our expectations for what's to come in the first part of June. We see this every year. And the heat, remember that to set your expectations, and people do differently in the heat. Some people do really well, and some people it is not their thing, and they don't do well. So adjust your expectations for that. But regardless of whether or not you do well in the heat, it takes really about 2 weeks, sometimes, longer than that, to adjust in the heat, depending on how often you are getting out there. So, the month of June, you're going to have to set your expectations that you're going to have an adjustment period for the heat. You're going to see things like a higher heart rate for a slower pace. So for example, this weekend on my run, my heart rate was 5 to 10 beats higher than it normally is for the same pace. So you adjust for that. Make sure that you're going into your workouts hydrated, kind of like you might for a race. And you don't need to go batshit crazy, but make sure that you're topping off both your water and your electrolytes in the day or two before you go out for a long ride or run. It will just make you feel better, not to mention it's a lot more safe. And then topical cooling, either putting water like on your head or on your ears, a cool cloth around your neck. You can get cooling sleeves that are you can buy them on Amazon. They're sleeves, they're usually white or light gray in color, and they just literally go from about the shoulder to the wrist. And they not only keep the sun off the skin, but they also, if you put cold water on them, they hold that cool cloth next to your arms. Ice in your hands, if you have ice available. For women, in your sports bra, you can put a bag of ice. So you have to, help yourself in the heat, set yourself up for success with that. And the topical cooling should not be underestimated in being a really effective way to help yourself. The other thing is to shade hop. When I go for a run in the summer, sometimes I'm crossing the street all the time trying to run in those shady spots, and keeping that sun off your skin is really helpful. Sun is kind of like kryptonite, even for those of us that really seem to do well in the heat. So set yourself up, expect a bit of an adjustment period here in June. Have fun, be safe, especially, out there on your bike, as we're kind of reemerging onto the road, and keep me posted with any questions or concerns. All right, bye.